If your dog does this when you walk in, they're not just being cute, they're trying to tell you something deeper. Most owners see random habits, little quirks. But what most people don't realize is that dogs are constantly communicating in a language we almost never stop to understand. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because that stretch, that stare, that weird thing they do when you're not looking, it all means something. And some of it goes way deeper than you think. Let's break it down. Why does your dog stretch the moment they see you? Most people think it's just loosening up after resting, but that's not what's happening. This is actually called a play bow, and it's one of the clearest invitations in dog language. In the wild, dogs use it to signal safe interaction. No threat, no tension, just connection. So when your dog does this when you walk in, they're not stretching, they're saying, "I'm happy you're here. Let's bond." That moment when they drop their chest and lift their tail isn't random. It's emotional energy spilling out. And if you ignore it, they don't just miss play, they feel ignored on a deeper level. Why does your dog lick your feet, even when it feels a little weird? People assume it's just a bad habit, maybe even annoying. But here's what your dog is actually doing. Your feet carry your strongest scent signature: sweat, hormones, chemical signals your body releases without you even noticing. Dogs process this using something called the vomeronasal system, which lets them taste emotional states. So when they lick your feet, they're scanning you, checking in. If you've had a stressful day, they feel it. That licking isn't random, it's regulation. They're calming themselves, and you at the same time. It's their version of, "You okay? Why does your dog follow you into the bathroom like a bodyguard?" Most people laugh it off, think it's clingy behavior. But this goes back to pack survival instincts. In the wild, moments like eating, sleeping, or isolating yourself are when you're most vulnerable. Dogs don't understand privacy the way humans do. They understand risk. So when you walk into a closed space alone, their instinct says, stay close, protect. That quiet stare while you're in there, that's not awkwardness, that's duty. They're literally standing guard because in their mind, you're exposed, and they've decided you're worth protecting. Why does your dog tilt their head when you talk to them? It looks adorable, almost like they're confused. But it's actually focused processing. Dogs rely heavily on tone, rhythm, and emotional cues in your voice. When they tilt their head, they're adjusting their ears to better isolate sound patterns. But there's more. Studies suggest dogs may tilt left or right, depending on whether they're processing emotion or commands. So that small tilt, that's your dog actively trying to understand you, not just hearing you, decoding you. You're not background noise to them. You're the most important signal in their world. Why does your dog let out those deep, dramatic sighs? Most people think it's boredom or tiredness, but sighing is actually an emotional release for dogs. When your dog lies next to you and lets out a long exhale, it usually means they feel safe, completely at ease. It's like their nervous system relaxing. But context matters. A sigh after you come home, that's different. That's relief. It's your dog saying, "You're back. Everything's okay again." That sound you barely notice. That's emotional reset happening in real time. Why does your dog steal your socks or clothes? You might think they're being destructive or playful, but here's what your dog is actually doing. They're holding on to you. Your clothes carry your scent more strongly than anything else in the house. When you're gone, that scent becomes their comfort. So they take it, not to destroy it, but to stay connected. Many dogs will sleep with your clothes when you're away. It reduces stress, lowers anxiety, and gives them a sense of presence. That bad behavior is actually attachment. They're creating a small version of you when you're not there. Why does your dog sometimes turn their back to you and just sit? At first glance, it can feel like they're ignoring you or being distant. But in dog language, this is one of the highest forms of trust. Turning their back means exposing their most vulnerable side. In the wild, you don't do that unless you feel completely safe. So, when your dog sits near you like that, they're saying, "I trust you enough to let my guard down." They're not disconnecting, they're surrendering control. That quiet moment carries more meaning than constant attention ever could. Why does your dog bring you toys or random objects? People think it's just an invitation to play, and yes, sometimes it is. But it goes deeper. In pack behavior, sharing valuable resources strengthens bonds. When your dog brings you their favorite toy, they're offering something that matters to them. It's a form of giving. And if they bring you something random, like a sock or shoe, that's even more interesting. They're trying to contribute, to be part of something. They don't just see you as an owner, they see you as their pack, and they're participating in that relationship the only way they know how. Why does your dog sleep in specific positions around you? This is where it gets really personal. If your dog presses against you while sleeping, it's not just comfort, it's security. Your body becomes their safe zone. If they sleep facing the door, they're positioning themselves between you and potential threats. That's protection instinct. But the most powerful one, when they sleep with their back to you. That means complete trust, no vigilance, no fear, just peace. Even in sleep, your dog is communicating how safe you make them feel. And here's the part most people never realize. Your dog isn't just reacting to you, they're emotionally syncing with you. Every behavior we just talked about isn't random. It's layered. Instinct, memory, emotion, and attachment all mixed together. They read you constantly, your energy, your stress, your presence, and then they respond in ways that make sense to them. So that stretch when you walk in, that stare when you sit quietly, that weird little habit you never understood, it's all communication. And once you start seeing it like this, your dog stops feeling like just a pet. They start feeling like someone who's been trying to talk to you all along. And when you really sit with that, everything about your relationship starts to shift. Because now you're not just feeding them, walking them, or playing with them, you're responding. You're answering a language that was always there, just waiting for you to notice. Why does your dog lie right in the doorway, exactly where you walk the most? Most people get annoyed. It feels like they're blocking your path on purpose. But here's what your dog is actually doing. Doorways are transition zones, points where movement happens, where energy shifts, where anything can enter or leave. In a pack setting, these are critical positions. So when your dog chooses that exact spot, they're not being lazy, they're positioning themselves where they can monitor everything. You leaving, you coming back. Any sound, any movement. It's the best place to stay connected to you at all times. They're not in your way. They're guarding the flow of your life. Why does your dog stare at you for no obvious reason? This one makes people uncomfortable sometimes. That long, silent eye contact. But what most owners don't realize is that dogs use eye contact as a bonding tool. When your dog looks at you calmly, without tension, their brain is actually releasing oxytocin, the same hormone that builds connection between humans. It's the same chemical response seen between a mother and her child. So that stare, it's not random, it's emotional locking. They're literally strengthening your bond in that moment, just by looking at you. And if you look back with softness, you reinforce it even more. Why does your dog get overly excited when you come home, even if you were gone for 10 minutes? People brush it off as exaggeration, Relax, I just stepped out. But your dog doesn't experience time the way you do. They experience presence and absence. When you're gone, something important is missing. When you come back, their entire emotional system resets. That excitement, jumping, spinning, whining, it's not just happiness, it's relief. It's release. It's their body saying, "You're back. My world makes sense again." And every time you respond to that energy, even briefly, you reinforce something powerful. That they matter to you as much as you matter to them. Why does your dog rest their head on you so gently? It seems small, almost nothing. But this is one of the most vulnerable gestures a dog can make. The head is a sensitive area. In the wild, lowering it means letting go of awareness. So when your dog places their head on your leg, your chest, or even your arm, they're choosing closeness over caution. It's not just affection, it's surrender. A quiet way of saying, "I feel safe enough to soften around you." And the crazy part? Most people barely notice it. They miss one of the purest expressions of trust happening right in front of them. Why does your dog sometimes stay close to you when you're not okay? This is where things go deeper than behavior. This is emotional awareness. Dogs pick up on micro changes. Your posture, your breathing, your tone, even your silence. You don't have to say anything. They know. And instead of fixing it like humans try to, they do something simpler. They stay. They sit next to you. They follow you more. They lean into you. That's not coincidence. That's presence. Your dog isn't trying to solve your problems. They're making sure you don't face them alone. And this final part, this is what changes everything. Your dog doesn't love you the way humans love. They don't calculate it. They don't question it. They don't hold back based on ego or past experiences. They attach deeply, instinctively, completely. Every behavior you see, every small moment, every habit you once ignored, it's all built on that attachment. Not surface-level affection, but something wired into who they are. So when your dog stretches when they see you, when they follow you without a reason, when they sit close, stare quietly, or rest their head on you, they're not just existing around you, they're choosing you over and over again. And once you truly understand that, you don't just see your dog differently, you start showing up differently for them too.